The whole world has been engulfed by an eternal winter. Frozen wastelands stretch for hundreds of thousands of blocks, and anyone who dared to step into them perished from the unbearable cold. Until now, no one had managed to survive in these extreme conditions. But as it turns out, the frost is far from the only threat. With the new climate came new mobs, perfectly adapted to this environment. On top of that, we have completely reworked biome generation, added thirst, temperature, and even body part damage system. Our goal in this survival will be to build a highly insulated base, figure out how not to freeze to death outdoors, and ultimately defeat the dragon. And trust me, it's not going to be easy. Here we are, spawning in this harsh world, on a snowy yet surprisingly cozy little hill. We have immunity to the weather for only 6 minutes, so we urgently need to find out how to stay warm. First thing I did was run toward the trees and chop down a couple of lonely trunks sticking out in the middle of the snow. Okay, this should be enough, at least for the beginning. After running a bit, I found a cave and thought it would be a good idea to mine some stone in there. I made a crafting table, a pickaxe, and carefully started climbing down. But soon I realized that the lower layers were consisted of granite. Not wanting to waste time, I grabbed the crafting table and went on exploring the surroundings. I managed to find a couple of small wheat patches, which I gladly collected. We'll definitely need food. After running further away, I tried once again to find stone so I could finally craft a furnace and warm up at least a little. But I got unlucky again, another patch of granite. At this point, I really began to panic and search for any possible solution, because in just a minute the effect will run out, and after that I will start freezing to death. In the distance, I noticed a lone house standing among the trees. And the coolest part, smoke was coming out of its chimney, which meant we had a chance to warm up. Coming closer, I started inspecting the place carefully. I had to be as cautious as possible. Who knows what might be waiting for us inside? I slowly opened the door and stepped inside. The house was surprisingly cozy, but luckily or unluckily, no one was there. Looks like this place belonged to a butcher. See? He recently processed some carcasses and hung them inside the freezer. And here's the fireplace, the one we saw smoking from outside. Perfect timing, because our weather immunity is already about to be over. Staying close to the fire, I began looking around the house from the inside. Everything looked quite cozy and even neatly arranged. But just so you understand how cold it is, if I step just a couple of blocks away from the fire, I instantly start freezing. Honestly, I can't even imagine what kind of temperatures this mod pack can reach, but I'm already getting uneasy. Feeling a bit braver, I decided to check the freezer room. There I looted some wheat, raw bacon, and even ground beef. For us, that kind of food supply is an amazing find, especially at the very start of survival. And since my hunger bar was almost empty, I had to eat right there, even if it was raw food. Over time, the cold became so intense that I would start freezing even half a block away from the fire. On top of that, I got the cold hunger debuff. And as you might guess, it's all because night had fallen. At this time, the temperature drops to a critical minimum. And the only thing left for me to do was wait. Wait for the sun to rise and warm the frozen ground of this merciless world at least a little. All I could do was stand by the fire, warm myself, and look around. And that's when I noticed something strange. Right on the plate there was a frog. Looks like someone really intended to eat it. While I waited, I had time to think, and I realized the only way forward was to get at least some piece of warm armor to help me survive the brutal cold. Oh, are those wool blocks? Or just carpets? Well, we'll check once the day comes. Let's break this fence. Maybe that way at least a bit more warmth will get inside the house. I spent the rest of the night simply warming myself by the fire, passing time until sunrise. And once the sky began to lighten, I finally decided to take action. I first stepped away from the fire cautiously, checking how the temperature changed while also examining the house more closely. Dang, okay, run back to warm up. Ooh. From this first outing, I learned I could stay away from the fire for about 20 seconds. That should be just enough to run up and mine the wool blocks I spotted on the second floor. After warming up properly, I dashed toward the staircase. I climbed to the second floor, saw the bedroom, and above the bed were wool blocks that I immediately started breaking. Okay, run back now. I'm already starting to freeze. Ooh, surprisingly, that went pretty well. From that run, I collected 6 wool blocks, enough to craft a warm helmet. But I decided to go for pants instead, since they give much more cold resistance. The problem was that I was missing just 1 more wool block to craft them. On the ceiling, I noticed hanging cobwebs, and I thought it might be a good idea to break them and try crafting a missing wool block. Honestly, I didn't see any other way out of this situation. Armed with a simple wooden sword, I went back up on the second floor and broke several cobwebs. Then I returned to the fire, warmed up, and repeated the process until I got the final piece of string. And just so you understand, I was missing exactly 1 string to craft a wool block. That really upset me, but the main thing was not to panic and keep looking for any possible way to get it. Maybe we can do something with the sheep hanging in the freezer. But since it's already sheared, I doubt we'll get anything useful from it. And breaking that hanging carcass only confirmed my guess. The only thing you can do with it is place it again. So let's hang it back. As for water, we can pretty much drink from wherever, as you can see. Of course, the water in the cauldron wasn't very clean. I got a thirst debuff, but it was just better than simply dying. Out of desperation, I started examining every corner of the house. Checked everything that could be opened, peeked into every little gap. I found the food storage area, but I didn't take anything from it. From the wheat I collected earlier, I crafted 5 pieces of bread, had a small snack, and continued exploring the house. Oh, what's this lever? Dang, I'm starting to freeze. I need to warm up first, then we'll see what it does. I'm really curious what it's for. It's probably not just decoration if they hid it behind the trapdoor. Meanwhile, the second night fell, and stepping away from the fire became extremely risky. But I still decided to run the lever, and after pulling it, I realized it opened some kind of hidden passage. After warming up a bit, I went upstairs and took the bed. I definitely needed more than some butcher. Finally, I'll be able to skip nights safely. The third day became a real day of adventure. Pulling the lever opened the secret room behind the bookshelves. Places like that usually hide something genuinely interesting. After warming up and restoring my temperature, I grabbed my wooden sword and headed into the unknown. Just look at this. It looks seriously creepy. Feels like this wasn't a butcher, but some kind of cannibal. Guess we didn't pick the safest place to wait out the cold. Returning to the fire, I thought over what I'd seen and realized that leaving this unpunished wasn't an option. Going back to the basement again, I freed the first prisoner, warmed up again, and then saved the second. There you go, guys, you're finally free now. And as you probably noticed, the basement was full of cobwebs. So first we warm up, then we collect them. The main goal now is to get warm armor and leave this place as fast as possible. Just break the cobwebs and ignore the creepy atmosphere. This should be enough, let's head back. From this run I managed to get 5 strings. After crafting them into blocks, I finally made the warm pants, the thing I've been missing for so long. They give 2.5 cold resistance, and essentially this should work. Okay, let's put them on and test them. And just look, I stepped away from the fire and I'm still not freezing for quite a while. And when the cold finally did reach me, the only thing I got was the cold hunger debuff. So living like this is definitely possible. With the new gear equipped, I began fully exploring the house, though there wasn't much else interesting. Just look at these gorgeous views from the window. I don't know about you, but the winter atmosphere really calms me down. I also decided to go back down into the basement. I still hadn't fully explored it. Maybe I'd be lucky enough to find some useful resources, or at least some food. In a small chest I found bones, bamboo, and some kind of ancient dart. I have no idea what it's for, but we'll take it just in case. The second storage room was completely empty, but I did find a bit of cobweb. At this stage of survival, it's honestly the most valuable resource. Who killed all these villagers? This looks seriously creepy. I also find someone's brain on the floor. If you place it on the ground, it attracts zombies. Don't think we'll need that, but we'll keep it anyway. Well, let's finally get our first cobblestone. With the new resource, I upgraded my tools. Surviving will be much easier. The fourth day began with inspecting the nearby territory. And I want to note that we don't freeze even outside, and that opens huge possibilities for us. We are surrounded by tall mountains and dense forests. And as you know, mountains are usually colder than lowlands, so we'll have to find a warmer place to build a base. Oh, there is some cobweb hanging on a tree. That'll do. Along the way, I also came across various interesting things, and on top of that, I managed to catch and kill a chicken. We are definitely gonna have food problems early on, so we don't have a choice. Nearby, I spotted a small pond and was able to drink some water. And the coolest part, I wasn't freezing at all near it, because there were magma blocks underwater radiating heat. I think it would be great to take some. In such harsh winter conditions, they'll definitely come in handy. And it wouldn't hurt to gather some more wheat. Who knows when we'll get a stable food source. It's already time to think ahead. The views here are absolutely gorgeous, I'll tell you that. Then I gathered some hay bales and noticed a lone deer walking in the distance. Slowly sneak up and attack. You little pest. Get back here. Okay, down he goes. And our hunger bar is almost empty, so it's time to return to the butcher's house to cook food and warm up a bit. No choice, we have to make do with what we have. From the hay, I crafted almost a full stack of bread and restored my hunger bar completely. And for now, we'll have to keep drinking dirty water, which gives a thirst debuff. After restoring my supplies, I continued exploring the nearby area in search of anything useful. And imagine my surprise when I realized that scarecrows contained an entire wool block each. Wool right now is the most valuable find, even more valuable than diamonds, so this is amazing. And as you can see, there are quite a lot of scarecrows around here. And since it's getting dark, let's grab the last wool block and head back before it's too late. Once I returned, I had a snack and warmed up by the fire. From the wool I crafted warm boots, now we're a whole tier higher. With every passing day, life in this world gets a bit better. But to craft a winter chestplate or a helmet, we'll need leather. I thought about making a torch for the upcoming journey, but it turns out that in this mod pack they are realistic and won't burn like that. Despite that, I took the crafting table, furnace, grabbed a few smokers from the butcher, plus the bed and some books. I set off in an unknown direction, and now we can only hope we get lucky and manage to find leather and wool for a full winter outfit. Soon I reached a body of water and tried to collect some sand to make water container. But of course, there was no sand, only some strange blocks that were very hard to break. Crossing to the other side, I did manage to get some sand. I immediately put it to smelt, crafted bottles, and for the first time in this entire survival I could properly drink water. Is this eagle not cold at all? I just don't get it. Right nearby, I stumbled upon a large ravine. It looked quite impressive, but I didn't rush in. For now, finding sheep or cows is more important, because without warm armor I'll be freezing constantly and we already have major food problems. I don't know about you, but these winter landscapes just mesmerize me. There is a little goat walking here, but we're not going to kill him. I also noticed a crop of ice fur nearby. You can use it to craft special fibers for reinforcing armor and protecting yourself from desert heat. But since the deserts here are winter ones, there is not much point. We need the warm variant. Eventually, it began to get dark, and the cold started overwhelming me even more, but I kept going. I walked long and hard. Along the way, I admired the beautiful landscapes of this world. And once the night fully covered the land, the sky lit up with stars, bright and mesmerizing. The next morning, I witnessed an incredibly beautiful sunrise. Sun rays slowly cut through the frosty mist, tinting the snow in golden shades. Nearby, I noticed a mountain made of black stone. Looks like some kind of geysers or volcanic activity. The air here was noticeably warmer, the temperature finally returned to normal. And this is probably the only place where you can truly warm up in these endless colds. Descending a bit lower, I came across a small group of brown bears. And I think picking a fight with them is definitely not a good idea, so we'll keep going. After some time, I reached the ruined portal. In the chest, I found a flint and steel, and the coolest part, there was also a bottle of special tears. If you drink it, it teleports you back to your spawn point. Now we can light torches, but I still didn't understand how you keep them burning in hand. If anyone knows how to do it, write in the comments, I'd love to hear it. Well, let's keep going, we still have a long journey ahead in search of warm armor. The first creatures I came across were pigs, and since we barely have any meat, and for now we'll keep warming ourselves with magma blocks, it's the only reliable method at the moment. I think if we take out these bisons, we'll definitely get leather, but that's probably way too risky, so better not. Let's wait out the night right here, near the warm magma. After some time I found a herd of deer. There was a chance they'd drop leather, but after killing several, all I got was horns and meat. Still, better than nothing. What are those sounds? Oh, it's a little snail? Look how cute and pretty it is. After crafting a stone sword, I found a bit of cobweb nearby and continued my search of sheep and cows. We still don't have warm armor or proper water flask. This problem needs to be solved immediately somehow. In this world, all mobs are so well adapted to the cold that even elephants and other savanna wildlife roam around. It looks very unusual, I'll tell you. Antelopes drop raw beef, who definitely won't hurt. And giraffes also drop some kind of meat, but we still don't have enough leather. Oh, bear, leave me alone. I absolutely don't want to fight you. I can't run anymore because of thirst. Please, let me get away. And this bear just got stuck. I think I got extremely lucky to survive that. The 7th day of survival began with a small break. I restored my thirst at nearby pond and continued exploring the surroundings. Soon I noticed a pretty funny looking tree, a baobab. I used to find them hilarious when I was a kid. Oh, and who might you be? Looks like he wants to punch us. What, you got slapped once and ran away immediately? Oh, he dropped leather. That's absolutely amazing. After killing a few more boars, I only got 2 hides. And for the flask we need at least that many more, so it's too early to relax. Take a look at this lioness, she looks unusual, especially in such a winter landscape. Not far away, I was lucky enough to spot a bison stuck in the snow. I waited until it lost enough health and then finished it off with 2 precise hits. It dropped tons of leather, exactly what I'd been missing for so long. Now I only needed one single iron ingot to craft the flask, so I rushed out to find some. Up in the mountains, I managed to spot a villager settlement, and I figured that would be a good place to search for iron. The first thing that caught my eye was a pen full of cows. I immediately thought it would be great to breed them, but the winter weather decided otherwise. I started freezing hard. With no other options, I ran into the nearest villager house, placed some magma blocks, and managed to warm up. At night, this place has an especially unusual vibe. The distant howling creates an unbelievable atmosphere. After waiting out the night, I dumped the necessary resources into the chest and went off to explore the village. Along the way, I collected stacks of hay and tried to breed the cows again. But either the frost froze their brains or I was doing something wrong, no calf appeared. So there was no other options left. Nearby, I noticed an interesting little house where I found a bit of food. And in the building next to it, I discovered a set of leather armor. Turns out it also gives decent cold resistance. Once I put the chestplate on, I felt myself warming up. This is just awesome. Right now we look like this. Day by day we're getting stronger, but the cold is still a huge problem. With the lantern in hand, I started checking the darker corners of the area, hoping to find at least something useful. After walking a bit farther, I was lucky to find my very first piece of iron. I immediately placed down the furnaces, tossed the ore into smelt, and while it melted, I admired the gorgeous views of this winter world. I can't even imagine how many chunks are loaded here, but it looks incredible. The winter landscapes just take your breath away. Look at this. Once the iron smelted, I finally crafted the flask. It's way more convenient than regular bottles. You can drink from it 10 times. From the remaining iron, I crafted an axe and pickaxe. Then continued my travels in search of wool. Without warm armor, I don't even want to think about building a house. So we need to hurry and get cold protection as fast as possible. Climbing higher into the mountains, I noticed that the temperature kept dropping lower and lower. The only thing that saved me even a little were the magma blocks. I got incredibly lucky finding them back then. Even during the day, the mountains were seriously cold, so we need to look for warmer places in this world. Another interesting thing in this village was blocks of organic compost, and a little farther I found tomatoes growing. In the future we'll definitely plant them once we start building a greenhouse. And of course we'll take the compost too. You can use it as farmland and crops will grow much faster. But the strangest thing, I realized only now that I still hadn't met a single villager. Most likely all the inhabitants left for warmer lands. It's simply impossible to survive here in winter. Oh, please, no! Leave me alone! Guys, a bear is chasing me! Someone help me, please! After a long time, I finally stumbled upon my first sheep. In that moment, I was insanely happy. Taking them down gave me 4 wool, and that was a huge relief. I filled with joy and excitement, I continued onward, carefully scanning the landscape, hoping to find another group of sheep. Soon I reached a clearing, exactly like the one where we first began our journey. And right nearby grazed another small group of rams. Now I had 6 wool blocks stored up, which meant we could craft a warm chestplate very soon. On the 10th day, I had been walking for so long that it was getting dark. And honestly, I've never gone on such long expeditions this early in survival. But as you understand, we simply have no choice. The 11th day started with killing cows. Nearby, I set up a small checkpoint and began cooking all the meat I collected. Once everything was done, I grabbed my resources and ran off again to search for sheep. Maybe I'd even find something useful. And to be honest, I don't even know how many tens of thousands of blocks I walked, but I was so exhausted and worn out, you can't even imagine. The only thing keeping me sane were the beautiful landscapes of this harsh world. Just look at where this ruined portal spawned. It looks very unusual. The chest had a bit of obsidian. We'll need it later. Oh, these are the same scarecrows with wool. Of course we are grabbing that. Not far from there, I was lucky enough to find one single sheep. After killing it, I finally had enough wool to craft the worm chest plate. Oh yeah, after all this time we finally crafted the chest plate. Absolutely awesome. And now all that's left is to make the helmet to complete the full set. By the night of 12th day, I grabbed another wool from the scarecrow and barely escaped the furious bear that clearly wanted to eat me. Damn, run, run! Oh, holy crap! Please spare me! The boat! Faster! Get in! Just look at that friendly face now. Looks like 5 minutes ago he totally wasn't trying to eat us. Absolute Freddy Fazbear behavior. On the 13th day, I stumbled upon an igloo. It was standing alone in the middle of the frozen ocean. There wasn't much interesting inside, so I kept going and soon found some fisherman's camp. He set things up pretty nicely. The tent protects him from the wind and the campfire keeps him warm. There were emeralds in the barrels. Hopefully he don't mind that we take them. On the morning of the 14th day, I fed a panda some bamboo so she wouldn't starve. Just look at these views. This looks insanely cool. While admiring the beautiful scenery, I caught a glimpse of sheep blending into the white snow. After killing them, I could finally craft a warm helmet. Now the entire set for extreme winter weather was fully complete. After 14th day of survival, we were fully geared up, one whole tier higher. And now that we have proper armor, I think it's finally time to look for a good location for our base. Most importantly, we need an area that's as warm as possible. After nearly a full day of searching, I found a gorgeous spot. And the best part, it was a wonderful island completely surrounded by ice. This was exactly the perfect place I'd been looking for. What's more, the island had plenty of animals, including sheep. In the future, we'll be able to breed them and get valuable resources. Chopping down a nearby pine tree, I set up a small functional area, placed a crafting table and a large chest where I stored nearly all my belongings. After that, I began gathering wood in earnest. It was finally time to think about building a house. Who knows what other cold snaps will have to survive. I kept gathering for so long that it was evening by the time I stopped, and at some point some pillagers even paid me a visit, deciding that could just kill me. Oh dang, he shot me right in the head. And just so you understand, because I got hit in the head, I had a severe headache with my vision darkening around the edges. And to get rid of this effect, you need a proper night's sleep. On the morning of the 16th day, I realized I was catastrophically short on resources to build a house, so I started digging a mine right next to my home. And I got lucky, I found a coal vein, which I happily mined. A bit later, I also dug into some clay deposits. Those will be useful too, especially for new crafting recipes. And when I accidentally spotted the moss block, I realized I had found lush caves. They looked absolutely stunning. First thing I did was light the whole space up. Just listen to how amazing the atmosphere is down here. Here I also mined a bit of iron, tossed it into the furnace and waited. When it finally melted down, I upgraded my tools. This should make survival much easier. And since it was already getting dark at that point, I went back into the mine to gather more resources for our future house. Along the way, I managed to dig up some copper. Trust me, we'll need it more than once. And of course, one of the main materials I plan to use is cobblestone, so we're mining as much of it as possible. I only came back to the surface by the next morning and immediately began planning the foundation for a house on the slope. The floor, by the way, will be made of cobblestone. I think it fits perfectly with the atmosphere. For now, it looks something like this. Then I started outlining the shape of the future house. It will be small, but very cozy. And it already looks pretty good. I suggest adding one more block on each side, so we have walking space here. I even began working on the roof, but I ran out of cobblestone, so I headed back into the mine to gather as much as possible. We are low on resources and dealing with serious problems, but I hope we'll manage to finish everything before the severe cold sets in. Guys, look at this little creature. It's like some kind of walking flower. Have you ever seen anything like this? And look, a tiny one is running around here. He moves his little legs so funny. By the time I returned to the surface, night had fallen, and despite the warm armor, we still keep freezing at night, so for now we'll have to skip through the nights. The next morning, I decided to walk around the island. Maybe I'd find something interesting. I met a lonely chicken, a strange dog, some sheep, and even a rhino. After scouting the area, I returned to working on the roof. We'll need a lot more cobblestone. In the center, I added these protruding sections to give the build more depth, and I think it's looking very beautiful and sturdy. I'm building the walls out of pine, shaving the logs, and adding more regular planks in certain places to break up the color palette. In the end, I think it looks very nice. Inside the building, I added another support pillar and divided the house into several rooms. So that's the main one where I'll live, retains as much heat as possible. It'll be small, but easier to warm up. That same day, I also made spots for windows and installed a sturdy door. The 19th day began with building the ceiling. Inside, I lit some torches and added another partition. Now, this tiny house has 3 rooms, a larger main one and 2 smaller ones. I moved the bed here, placed a chest and a barrel next to it, and set a lantern on top. Everything looks very atmospheric and cozy. I also installed several doors throughout the house. In the far room, I placed the crafting table, some chests, and finished it off with regular furnace. Now we need to make sure the entire house is fully sealed. More specifically, we need to find glass for the windows. I searched long and hard for sand, but in this mud pack the shores are made of special blocks and sand wasn't anywhere. So for now we'll have to block the windows off to keep the wind out. To warm up the house at least a little, I placed magma blocks inside the rooms. Technically, they should provide a decent amount of heat. Until we get a proper furnace, this is one of the few ways we can stay warm. Let's make a staircase to the second floor. We still haven't furnished it, and that needs to be fixed. We just need to gather some resources from the mine. We're having some issues with that, but hopefully things will go well. We fill everything in with cobblestone, and done. We light torches here too, and there's actually quite a bit of space up here, I'll tell you. In the future, I'm planning to make a kitchen here. I think it'll fit perfectly. For now, the house looks like this from the outside. We only need to add some exterior detailing, and it'll look much better. That same day, I went on a small expedition, hoping to find at least a small deposit of sand. Finally I got this damn sand. It wasn't easy. This amount should be enough, so let's slowly head back. On the way home, I witnessed an incredibly beautiful winter sunset. When I returned, I threw the sand into the furnace and made a large panoramic window on the second floor. I think it fits here perfectly. I also installed windows on the first floor. It looks absolutely awesome. Now we'll be able to observe what's happening outside and keep an eye on the weather. The house itself turned out quite simple, but once we fully decorate it, it'll shine in a whole new way. So I went to gather more wood, crafted gates and fences, and began placing them between the frame like this. Later we'll hang lanterns from the central fence posts, but since we don't have any yet, we'll leave it for now. I also added buttons on the sides for extra detail. Now it looks much better. I also suggest adding even more small fence sections lower down. And by the way, I found out that you can boil dirty water from the flask in the furnace and get clean water. That's definitely useful. At this stage, my resource supplies were running low, so I decided to fully descend into the mine. Not just to gather more building blocks, but also farm ores like iron and coal. Just listen to this atmospheric cave sounds and that frog croaking. It feels amazing to be down here. What's especially nice is that iron appears quite often in lush caves, exactly what I was missing. Eventually I reached a dark ravine, and looking down I was stunned. The view was absolutely breathtaking. And down there on top of everything was a ton of iron, so I just couldn't resist and jumped down. There really is a lot of iron here, and the caves keep going deeper. It's just awesome. Dang, I fell into the water and started freezing. I need to set up a campfire immediately. Whew, seems like we're warming up. We're alive. And we keep mining more metal. After upgrading my pickaxe to iron, I wanted to go deeper. But below I noticed a gigantic oversized centipede. Just look at this creature. It looks terrifying, and it's probably extremely dangerous too. I don't even know how we are supposed to mine diamonds in this world if things like this crawl around down here. I'm definitely not fighting it right now, so let's go back home. I made it outside only at the beginning of 22nd day. Back home I put away the unnecessary resources and began smelting all the iron I had gathered. On the second floor I placed several smokers and loaded them up with all the meat we had. I also found the crafting recipe for a heater, and that's exactly what will make our survival more comfortable. We'll install it in the main room, right here. And let's also build a chimney for this thing. It'll look something like this. We loaded with coal, and now our house will gradually start heating up. Finally, we have something that will keep us warm. Absolutely awesome. The 23rd day began with chopping a small amount of wood. From the iron I had smelted earlier, I crafted a cauldron and a bucket. And from wood I made various signs and decorations for the house. Then I started arranging everything. I placed the cauldron next to the heater and filled it with water so I'd always have quick access to refill the flask. I placed signs and trapdoors in somewhat chaotic manner. Hopefully they'll offer at least a bit more protection from the cold. In the entrance area, I hung a sign and wrote the day number of our survival on it, so always remember and don't forget, because ahead of us is the goal of killing the dragon in 100 days. And we still need to prepare properly for that, and it will not be easy, I'll tell you. In the main room I also built a storage section of 4 chests. After that I tossed the clay into the furnace and went outside. There I installed some additional details on the house to make it look cooler and sturdier. And here's what I have so far. In the future we absolutely need to hang lanterns here. With them the house will look much better. I spent the remaining night standing by the furnaces, warming myself and waiting for the clay to finish smelting. The nighttime atmosphere here is simply gorgeous. But soon my peace was interrupted by a wandering trader who for some reason decided to dive into a snowbank and began suffocating. I tried to pull him out, but accidentally hit the idiot, and his llama started spitting at me immediately. Still, I managed to save him somehow. However, by the next morning, the fool climbed into the snow again and suffocated for good. Well, at least we got leather from the llamas. I crafted several item frames with it. I think it's about time we begin sorting resources. We've accumulated quite a ton of items. When the clay finally finished smelting, I made bricks first and then crafted a real stove. We'll install it on the second floor, and this is roughly how it looks. With it, we'll be able to cook all sorts of dishes. I even crafted a frying pan and placed it right on the stove. Now we can fry a whole stack of meat here. This leads to the next problem. We'll need to gather meat in large quantities. So outside I grew some wheat and used it to lure sheep inside the house. The main thing is to hide them somewhere so they don't suffocate in the snow. I brought them inside only by the end of the day. Until I build a barn, they'll be staying in my entrance hall. The next day I crafted an iron axe and set off to collect new materials for the barn. The first type of wood I found was acacia. But I don't think that color will suit us, so we keep searching for something better. Soon I stumbled upon oak. I think this material will be perfect for the base of our barn. Why do birch saplings drop from oak trees? Well, alright. For the rest of the day I chopped oak trees, admired the beautiful scenery and gathered new types of wood, mangrove and dark oak. When the sun set, I noticed lights glowing in the villager settlement. I ran into a random house and waited out the night. In the morning, I planned to explore the village a bit. And the coolest thing is that there were actually villagers here who somehow managed to survive it in these harsh conditions. Some of them will have to wall up inside their houses so they don't accidentally suffocate in the snow. Oh, this weaponsmith sells an iron spear. I'll need to come back and buy it. Maybe with a weapon like that, we'll be able to handle even those giant centipedes. I also found cabbage seeds. That's something we'll definitely plant once we build a greenhouse. We'll be able to make soups and salads from cabbage, so we definitely won't go hungry. And since I had already gathered enough resources, it was time to head home. After returning, I sorted all the resources I'd collected, then set up something like a primitive tree farm next to the house. It looks something like this, but here's a small spoiler. Dark oak won't grow here because the saplings need to be planted in a 2x2 area. I completely forgot about that at that time. That same day I seriously got to work flattening the terrain because I plan to build a lot more structures here. But the main goal for now is to build a large barn for animals. The work turned out to be way bigger than I expected, and it kept going all the way until nightfall. But by the end of the day I had cleared a pretty big area. In the morning I continued leveling the landscape, placing dirt where it was missing, removing excess blocks, and carefully filling every hole so nothing would accidentally fall in. Here's what I ended up with. This space should definitely be big enough for a large barn. But before I could start building, I first finished the exterior chimney, and personally I think it looks fantastic. After that I began marking the outline of the future barn. I immediately laid out the animal pens, and for now this is how everything looks. I think this space will easily fit all the sheep and even more. On the morning of day 27, I continued working on the barn. First I built the main pillars, then started connecting them to form the solid structure. But of course I didn't have enough resources to finish the frame. So I turned my attention to the tree farm and using bone meal quickly grew oak trees and started chopping them down. I spent so long doing this that night had already fallen. And just look at this nighttime winter atmosphere, it's absolutely unreal. Our little house looks so cozy in the middle of tall mountains and dense forests. Day 28 started with me fully completing the barn's frame. I think we'll make the build a little more complex by adding a second floor. The floor will be made of birch, and the first layer of walls I made out of stone bricks to diversify the color palette. We'll get up there by a simple ladder, and on top we'll build a small balcony. I think it fits here perfectly. I made the roof walls from spruce planks and added a little window in the center made from fences. It turned out, in my opinion, very stylish and cozy. Guys, I just noticed something. The weather has suddenly changed really drastically. Everything became foggy and gloomy. Looks like the cold snap is getting very close. It all looks really cool and unusual, but we have to try finishing our builds before the deep freeze arrives. So that day I focused on designing the roof. First, I finished the entire first floor roof, and by the end of the day I completed the second floor part as well. It looks absolutely awesome, I'll tell you that. There's a ton of space here, and on the second floor we now have this decorative balcony. Later we'll be able to store supplies for breeding animals up here. But the view from above seemed a bit strange. I chose oak as the main roof material, and in my opinion it didn't really match. The roof of my main house was entirely made of cobblestone, and we needed to do something with that. To fix the issue, I went back into the mines to collect more stone. The very next day I started completely redesigning the roof. The only thing I decided to keep was the outline. And done. Now, as you can see, the buildings match each other perfectly. I still need to adjust the outline of the roof of the main house as well, but I'll deal with it later. For now I added this little overhang to give the build a medieval touch. And just look how amazing everything looks already. Day 30. The trees I planted earlier had finally grown, so it was time to chop them down. After that I returned to work on the barn, placed torches for lighting, and began replacing the frozen ground with regular dirt so our animals would be more comfortable. I installed gates so none of them ran off, and basically everything was ready. I only added a bit more detail and made a path down the center. The barn turned out absolutely beautiful. I let the sheep inside and started breeding them. After 30 days of survival, we finally have our own animals. This is just awesome. Now we can have an endless supply of wool and food, and life will get at least a little easier. I spent the rest of the day admiring the nighttime weather, enjoying this winter atmosphere. Day 31 started with the first shearing of the sheep. Then I bred them again, and we got another baby. But that's when I realized something important. We have plenty of wool and meat. We need to keep breeding sheep non-stop. And for that we need wheat, which we still don't have. That means very soon we'll have to build a greenhouse where plants can grow even in harsh winter. For now I made the same oak outline on the main house. Now our two only builds match each other perfectly, just wonderful. And as you can see, we've collected a decent number of different seeds, so we absolutely have to build that greenhouse. But since it was already getting dark, I decided not to rush yet. I sheared the sheep again, made purple dye from a random plant, and dyed the wool. Only then I crafted carpets and began placing them in the main room. In theory, it should make it even warmer. After all, this temperature mode is extremely realistic, and it's affected by 12 different factors, including block you're standing on. And since we still needed a greenhouse, on day 32 I went traveling to gather materials for its construction. Maybe I'd even find some food along the way. On the way, I stopped by a village and found a cartographer. In the future, we can trade with him and go explore different structures. And in one of the chests, I got lucky and found a burning torch. Now I can hold it in my left hand and light up even the darkest corners. I also took the organic compass that I left earlier because I didn't have inventory space. This thing will be very useful. Crabs grow twice as fast on it. Plus, I bought an iron spear from the weaponsmith. With a weapon like that, maybe we'll be able to handle even those huge centipedes and get down to the diamonds. Though I can't guarantee that. Anyway, it was time to get back to my original plan, because I was getting pretty distracted. I still hadn't decided which material would be the best for the greenhouse, so I just started gathering all types of wood, hoping at least one would work. And the nights in the mountains were so cold that I had to keep lighting the ground around me to avoid freezing. During one of those cold nights, I ran into a wandering trader. He didn't have anything particularly useful, but I still bought some strange feather. No idea where to use it actually. At least leather is always good to have. In the end, I never managed to gather everything I wanted and headed back home. I think the best material for the greenhouse will be regular oak, but I had very little of it. And my axe was close to breaking, so I'd have to improvise somehow. I returned to my island at sunrise. On the way I tried bringing a board to the barn, but something was clearly wrong with it, so I decided to leave it alone. After clearing my inventory of unnecessary items, I planted spruce saplings all around the area. Oh, dang, I lost my only torch. How did it even happen? And since I didn't really have anything else to do, I made another tunnel into the mine and decided to fix it up. First, I closed off another unnecessary entrance that was clearly not where it should be. Then I worked on the frame, after which I built the walls and ceiling. For now, it looks something like this. The next day I finished building the roof. I added various small details such as buttons, fences and trapdoors. It looks absolutely gorgeous. In the future, I'm planning to replace the roof outline with regular oak and add lanterns, but for now we'll leave it as is. By day 34 of survival, there were already 3 buildings on my island. With each passing day, living here was becoming easier and more pleasant, and honestly that was really uplifting. But we still didn't have a greenhouse, and we need one to grow various plants, breed animals and get nutritious meat. The next day I replaced the outline by the mine entrance with oak planks too. Now every structure on the island looks great together. After storing away all the necessary resources, I grabbed a bunch of pickaxes and this time decided to properly head into the mine for iron. I needed new tools to gather materials for the future greenhouse. Who's crawling over there? Oh, just regular cockroach. Going deeper again, I found myself in that same beautiful place with water caves. On the way, I stumbled upon a small gold vein, took it, and kept descending even lower for the level where we previously saw the giant centipede. How did the chicken even get down here? And there it is, the giant centipede. How am I even supposed to fight that thing? It's so huge, it's insane. Guys, I think it noticed me. No, please, run. Block myself in, I beg you. Have mercy. No, no, no. I boxed myself in. It can't reach me, right? It took all my hearts in one hit. I've only got half a heart left. I need to carefully dig away to the side. I think I'm safe now. Oh, it's still there. Where did it hide, that bastard? Let's put doors here just in case. And here too. Oh, it's crawling over there. Someone save me, please. Oh, it bit me again. I shouldn't have gotten so close. This is insane. Oh, how is it crawling like that? And my vision is going dark from the headache. I absolutely have to survive this. I don't want to start over. Die already. Oh, that was tough. And there is a whole cave full of the centipedes. That's just crazy. The creature dropped its legs. With them I can craft pants that let you climb the walls. I don't think that'll be useful to us, but whatever. Oh, no, please. Good grief, die you freak. And another one is charging at us. And on top of that, my vision is getting darker by the second. If I hadn't placed that door, that thing would have crawled right then. Realizing that I wasn't ready to fight giant centipedes, I turned into another cave branch. There, I managed to gather a whole bunch of iron, and going even deeper, I stumbled upon a redstone vein. Absolutely awesome. Nearby, I set up a checkpoint, threw the iron into smelt, crafted a bucket, and took a random axolotl with me. Later, we'll definitely build an aquarium for it at the base. For now, I upgraded my pickaxe to iron and went to mine every iron vein I could find. Soon I reached a lava lake. With it, we could forget about the cold forever. But suddenly a centipede lunged out of the darkness, and I had no choice but to drink a special tears potion. Whew, I'm finally home. I threw all the iron into the furnace, and while it was smelting, I decided to take a look around the island. While I was gone, the sheep had grown back their wool, so it was time to shear them again. We'll definitely need that wool later. When the iron finally smelted, I crafted a large supply of tools, and only on day 37 set out on a massive expedition for sand and oak wood for our future greenhouse. Oh wait, seriously? Guys, that's the worm fern. With it, we can insulate our armor even more. I didn't even think it could grow around here. That's insanely good. I walked for quite a while searching for sand. Lots of interesting things popped up along the way, and the landscapes were breathtaking. And then, in the corner of my eye, I finally spotted some sand, and immediately started digging it up. At first, I thought there wasn't much, but turns out we found a real gold mine of the stuff. I dug for ages, broke the first shovel, then the second, then even the third. In the end, I managed to gather more than 10 stacks of sand, more than enough. At dawn, I started scanning the area in hopes of finding oak trees. But finding nothing, I headed toward the familiar direction. And there I finally began a massive logging operation. This amount of resources will definitely be enough to build a proper greenhouse. Well then, time to head home. Home, sweet home. I finally returned. First thing I did was craft a blast furnace, thinking it would smelt sand faster, but it turns out it can't do that. So I had to go old school and toss everything into regular furnaces and wait a ridiculous amount of time. Day 40 started with clearing land for the big greenhouse. It took forever, and I got so sick of digging that you can't even imagine. But now the surface is flat, perfect for construction. On day 41, I began marking the borders of the future greenhouse. And that's when I realized the clear area wasn't nearly enough. I had to dig again. There was no other way. Eventually I made a rough outline, and for now it looks like this. The size is going to be seriously impressive. That same day I somehow managed to put up the pillars, breaking all my legs in the process. It already looks fantastic. Then I began connecting everything into a solid structure. And even just building the frame took the entire day. Just look at the size of it. We'll be able to plant so many different crops. It's incredibly cool. Day 42. This day I started working on the roof for the greenhouse, and it looked very clean and beautiful. The next day I completely finished the outline, and it turned out fantastic. In the center I added reinforcing beams, and basically the framework of greenhouse was done. By that time some of the sand had already smelted, so I slowly started placing glass in the windows. I decorated the doors like this, and it already looked wonderful. The main part of the roof would also be made of glass, so sunlight could reach the plants. Without it, they wouldn't grow, as you know. In the end, I reinforced the structure a bit more, and here's how it looks from the outside. A very cool build, I must say. The next day I started working on the canopy, and with it the entire structure came to life with new colors. Then I began digging out the frozen soil and replacing it with regular dirt. This way the plants will grow without any issues. Inside I also started building pillars to reinforce the entire structure. One down. Dodge. Faster. Yes, two down. Die already? Why do you even show up if you don't fight back, huh? Then I finished building the pillars inside the greenhouse. Now it looks something like this. There is more than enough space here. We'll be able to plant absolutely any crops. And I'll tell you a secret, with vegetables we'll be able to cook all kinds of soups in the future. Day 46 began with creating the garden beds inside our greenhouse. In the center I laid the neat little paths so it would be easy to move around. By evening I lit some torches and started planting the beds. The first section will grow tomatoes. Everything looks incredibly cozy and atmospheric. And by the way, I'm going to label the beds with these hanging signs. For example, right here we'll grow cabbage. I don't have that many seeds, but over time everything should spread out nicely. Yeah, looks like sunlight doesn't reach here and my cabbage wilted. I'll have to remove one row later. The next day, using bone meal, I grew some tomatoes so we could get our harvest sooner. And I really did have to remove one layer of garden beds because sunlight didn't reach that far. There was simply no other choice. Here's what it looks like now. I planted wheat in several sections at once because I'm gonna use it to breed sheep, and that means I'll need a lot of it. In the future I also plan to plant carrots, tomatoes, beets and even onions. But first I'll have to find their seeds somewhere. Oh, some cabbage has grown already. Not bad at all. At the back of my greenhouse I planted sugarcane, and now everything was fully ready. We ended up with a wonderful and very cozy greenhouse. All that's left is to wait for the first harvest, and then we'll finally be able to start breeding our sheep. And by the way, some tomatoes grew already. Finally, we'll eat something other than bread. After all this time, having another type of food feels amazing. And since it was getting dark, let's finally go to sleep. In the morning, I placed a barrel in my kitchen where I stored all the ingredients for future dishes. Though to cook proper soups, we still need to find potatoes and carrots, but we'll take care of that later. And as you can see, the wheat has slowly started growing. Very soon we'll begin breeding our animals. And since I had nothing else to do, and my worm armor was close to breaking, I crafted a brand new worm set. I put the old armor on a stand. I want to keep it as a memory, because in the very beginning of our survival it helped us a lot. Then, right in the floor of our entry room, I made a small aquarium and placed an axolotl inside. Now he'll swim around here and cheer us up with his presence. By day 48, there were already 4 buildings on my island, and most importantly, now we have everything we need to live in the harsh winter. Animals, a greenhouse with plants, it's just awesome. By the end of the day, I added a bunch of more little details to the greenhouse, and now it looks even better. And just look at this beautiful sunset, it's absolutely stunning. When it started getting dark, I managed to harvest a bit of wheat. And the next day I bred the sheep. After so much time we can finally do this. This mod pack is seriously hardcore, I'll tell you that. At home I crafted a kitchen knife and a cutting board. We placed it in the kitchen and now we can chop vegetables. This thing is insanely useful. Yeah, to cook a salad we still need to find some beets. Near the greenhouse I placed some organic compost. Over time, under the influence of water, sunlight or mushrooms, it will turn into fertile soil, where plants will grow noticeably faster. Then I gathered the new wheat harvest and bred the sheep again. Some of them I had to slaughter, and in the end I got only 2 pieces of meat. But even that was enough. Using the cutting board, I sliced them and got 4 lamb chops. Threw them on the frying pan, cooked them a bit, and in the end we got some very nutritious meat, something I've been desperately lacking this whole survival. We already have everything we could even want, but it's time to think about the future. To kill the dragon, we absolutely must go to the Nether, and for that we need obsidian, which we don't have at all. And the worst part, we still can't mine it. After 50 days of survival, we still don't have diamond tools, all because giant centipedes inhabit the caves. Crafting a bunch of pickaxes and taking the spear I bought earlier from the villager, I decided to head into the mines properly to find diamonds. The main goal for now was understanding how to avoid the centipedes. After that, everything will be easier. Guys, can you believe I only now noticed that in F3 my coordinates don't show up at all? I don't even know what height I'm at. That means I have 0 chance of finding diamonds like that. At least with the new spear, killing centipedes became a little bit easier. But it's still extremely dangerous, and honestly, I have no idea how to handle this long term. Carefully approaching Lava Lake, I started building a smaller shelter just in case something attacks me. Placed some doors, added a magma block for worms, and also made a ladder so I could quickly get inside. Then I cautiously moved deeper into the cave, hoping at least to find some diamonds somewhere. But I only found iron. After smelting it, I refreshed my tools. And I collected some lava in buckets. I think it'll be useful later. Going deeper was nearly impossible, those damn centipedes were crawling everywhere. And the only diamonds I saw were exactly where there were especially many of them. I had no choice but to mine more iron. Oh, easy. Where did it come from? What was that? Did something fall from the above, or I'm just imagining things? I need to find a way down and get back home. It's waiting for me down there. This is really bad. Oh no, please. Block myself in. Oh, that was actually terrifying. Damn it, the thing bit me. Die already. Their bites are especially dangerous for me. It's insane. They leave me 0 chance. Barely grabbing my resources, I turned down another cave branch. Along the way, I mined iron and gathered mushrooms. The atmosphere here is insanely cool. You can really feel the depths and gloom of the caves. But there were no diamonds at all. Further ahead, there were same centipede-infested caves, and honestly, I had 0 desire to go back in there. So it was time to dig out to the surface and look for another way to get diamonds. In caves, the chance of finding them is extremely low. Oh, I dug up right next to home. And there is a rhino standing here. Returning home, I relit the torches that had gone out. From centipede parts, I crafted pans that let me climb walls. I'm not sure where this will be useful, but whatever. And while I was gone, some plants grew, so I harvested them. As for the diamond pickaxe, I think we can just trade one from the toolsmith. And since I'll have to travel soon anyway, I decided to craft a real airplane. First, I made the propeller, then 3 body parts. Converted crystals into redstone at the grindstone, crafted pistons, used copper to make a boiler, put together the engine, and finally assembled all the parts. In the end, we got a biplane. It looks like this. With it, traveling will be much easier. And that's perfect because very soon I'm planning to fly to a village to trade with villagers and get a diamond pickaxe. I took everything essential with me, and this is the inventory I ended up with. We refuel the plane and take off. Flies so smoothly. This thing is insanely cool, especially in conditions where you constantly have to move around the world. Winter landscapes from bird's eye view look absolutely mesmerizing. Okay, gently landing. Oh, smooth landing success. And the views here, absolutely gorgeous. And I'll earn emeralds using the Fletcher. The tactic is simple, sell him sticks and get tons of emeralds. Day 55 began with massive tree chopping. Then I converted the logs into sticks and sold them to the villager. But before trading with the toolsmith, I decided to trade a bit with the weaponsmith. Maybe we could get some new strong weapon to help deal with the centipedes. The weaponsmith also sold me an iron katana that deals more damage when hitting the enemy in the chest. Pretty interesting mechanic, might even be useful. So I kept selling sticks, earning emeralds, then ran to level up the weaponsmith, and this repeated endlessly. I got so tired of chopping wood that you can't even imagine. Over time, the Fletcher started selling different bows and crossbows. Maybe we'll get something from him at max level. And the weaponsmith started selling a diamond mace. Sounds pretty decent, so for now we'll settle for it. Honestly, it looks like a giant shovel, but let's hope it's useful in action. And since I'd already traded enough for weapons, we could move on to tools. On day 57, I gave a random villager the toolsmith profession and started leveling him up little by little. But since I ran out of wood, I had to go gather more. This time though, I chose a smarter tactic. I flew to tropical trees. One of those trunks gives 3 stacks of wood, and the best part of that, it takes almost no time. From one Fletcher, I was getting about 18 emeralds, after which he stopped accepting sticks and I had to wait for his trades to reset. That, of course, was a problem, so I found another villager and also turned him into a Fletcher. Now earning emeralds became twice as easy. From the toolsmith, I was buying some insane amount of tools, leveling him up that way. But when I returned to the very first Fletcher, it turned out he had run off somewhere. Either I accidentally freed him like an idiot or something else happened, but in the end we were left with only one Fletcher. Despite that, I kept leveling the villagers. Over time, the toolsmith began offering iron enchanted tools, which was already pretty nice. And the Fletcher unlocked new traits and started selling different range weapons. Eventually, I decided to take a regular bow and some arrows, might come in handy. Honestly, I'd already lost count of how many days I'd been stuck in this village. I was so tired and fed up that I had no energy left. But there was no way out. The only thing that cheered me up, at least a little, was the stunning scenery of this world. Sometimes you just stand, look around, and forget about all this routine. Out of boredom, I often ran around the village with nothing to do. After all, the Fletcher didn't always accept sticks, so I had to wait for him to refresh his traits. Using my bow, I even managed to take down an elephant once, but nothing interesting dropped from him. And by the way, I realized something. The bow is the perfect weapon against those damn centipedes. Maybe now we'll be able to kill them much easier. With time, the Fletcher leveled up to max and began selling a diamond bow with insanely good enchantments like power, unbreaking, and even flame. Well, it would have been a crime to not take such an OP item for just 3 emeralds, so of course I bought it. On the 63rd day of survival, I leveled up the toolsmith enough for him to start selling a diamond axe and shovel with enchantments. Not bad already, but what I really needed was a pickaxe. And for it to appear, he had to reach the max level. So we continued the old routine, selling sticks, chopping wood, leveling the toolsmith. Oh, yes, he started selling diamond pickaxe. That's a victory. I worked toward this for so long, that's a relief. All that's left is to farm 15 emeralds, and the pickaxe will be ours. The next day I collected the missing emeralds and finally bought the diamond pickaxe. After so much time, we finally had diamond tools. It's crazy. This mod pack is honestly one of the hardest I ever played. That same day I traded a bit more with Fletcher, bought a spare bow and more arrows. After that I headed back home. Home sweet home. I returned here after 10 days. 10 agonizing days in the village town where I barely managed to get the tool I needed. Everything on my island was just the same, and that alone was comforting. But there was no time to relax, so I prepared some food and went into the mine. I think it's time to get some obsidian, so we need to hurry. On the way I grabbed some magma, because I'd completely forgotten about mine. And here is the same centipede cave. Now we can easily kill them. From a distance, they're not much of a threat. And now let's start mining obsidian for the nether portal. 16 pieces should be enough. I got back to the surface when it was already dark, so let's sleep. On day 66, I noticed that my organic compost had finally turned into fertile soil. I placed it on the tomato beds, tilled it, and planted everything again. Now the crops should grow much faster. Let's build a portal near the barn. Technically, we can already go to the nether, but as you know, we have a realistic temperature mod installed. If we just walk in, we'll burn from the heat, and you are probably wondering how to avoid that. We'll need special cooling armor, but its recipe requires string, and we don't have any yet. Looks like we'll have to go on a trip for string. Honestly, I'm already tired of running around and climbing everywhere, but we simply don't have another option, as you understand. Before the journey, I harvested the greenhouse crops and crafted a thermometer. It shows the temperature, so now I can look for warmer places. For example, inside our house, it's only about 5 degrees right now, and the warmest spot is near the stove on the second floor. But if you turn on the boiler to heat the house, the temperature quickly jumps to 14 degrees Celsius. That's how it works. On day 67, I flew off in a random direction, hoping to somehow obtain string. And just 5 minutes later, I got lucky. I spotted a new village in the middle of frozen ocean. And most importantly, there were living villagers there. Oh, they have potatoes and carrots growing here. Exactly what we need for our greenhouse. I also found a chest with beetroot seeds inside, and that's exactly what we were missing for soups. So when we return home, we'll finally be able to eat something warm. They even have onions growing here. These villagers are loaded. And look at this eye shape. Does it remind you of anything? Write in the comments. Besides that, I stumbled upon a bunch of organic compost in the village. We'll definitely need it for the greenhouse. I also started taking their lanterns. As you know, we still have huge lighting problem, so we'll have to borrow some from the villagers. At night, I wandered around the village, thinking about how we could get string. And the only idea that came to my mind was to level up the cartographer and buy a woodland mansion map from him. And as you know, the mansion has special rooms with tons of string and spider spawner. And if you think we could just kill regular spiders outside, you're deeply mistaken. Because of the extreme cold, they just simply don't exist in these regions. On day 68, I set up a small sugarcane farm so I could later craft a cartography table and give a random villager the job. And now all that left was to wait. But after waiting the entire day, the sugarcane still didn't grow. So from what I had, I crafted the cartography table and gave the job to a random villager. I'd need to trade with him a lot before he started selling structure maps. And for that, I'd need a ton of emeralds. So the old-fashioned way, I crafted several fletching tables and started selling sticks again. And since there were jungles nearby, gathering wood was very easy. Oh guys, I found berries. We'll definitely need this. The more different food we have, the better. Look at this monkey. How does its butt not freeze while sitting on the snow, I wonder. Filling the entire plane and my inventory with wood, I try to take off. Honestly, taking off in the jungle is very inconvenient, but since I'm a professional pilot, everything went smoothly. Day 70 began with selling sticks to the Fletchers. Nothing interesting was happening, just the usual boring routine. Over time, the cartographer started selling an Ocean Explorer map, which meant the Woodland Mansion map would appear soon. Also important, the cartographer began accepting glass, and I think the trade would be much more profitable. To give you an idea, on day 72, I flew back to the first village and grabbed several diamond shovels from the toolsmith. Then I found a massive patch of sand and began mining it. I only returned to the cartographer next day, crafted my first glass panes and sold them to him. And finally, he offered the Woodland Explorer map, a victory. I spent so much time on this, it's insane. Taking all the previously found plants with me, I set off on a long hunt for mansion. Coordinates weren't shown on F3, so I had to navigate using the sun, since it rises in the east. I hope this method works, otherwise I have no idea what we'll do. And there it is, the mansion. We finally arrived. The atmosphere here is amazing. This biome is so cozy. The map did its job. We don't need it anymore. Oh, just look at these glowing mushrooms. Just gorgeous. Let's take some with us. This biome is unbelievably beautiful. If I had known about it earlier, I would have settled here without hesitation. On day 76, I bridged up to the second floor of the mansion. With the bow, I easily dealt with the pillagers. And once inside, I began exploring everything. Honestly, there wasn't much interesting, but the main goal was to find the spider room. It had to be somewhere over here. I searched for a long time, trying to check every corner of this huge building. I rarely encountered enemies, and even then they died almost instantly from the bow. I found a little chest here, and I hear some strange sounds. A template. Don't think we'll need it. Oh damn, where did you come from? That scared the hell out of me, seriously. Where did he even appear from? And by the way, somewhere behind the wall I can hear spiders. I think we found what we were looking for. This amount of cobweb will definitely last us until the end of the game. In the end, all the time spent wasn't in vain. Honestly, this is exactly why I love Minecraft. To get something valuable, you really have to put in a ton of work. I made it out of the mansion by nightfall. After skipping it with a bat, I headed out on a long journey home. On the way, I'd also need to collect some leather, since it's required for crafting the cold armor. Just look at this beauty. And here are the deer. They're exactly what we need to get leather from. By the way, there are meat drops already cooked. Pretty convenient. I think 16 leather should be enough to craft the cold armor. So we head home. And here we are, finally back home. Inside the house, I immediately lit up the furnace to warm up a bit. While I was gone, the whole house had completely frozen over. Day 78 began with crafting the cold armor. Now we can set out to explore the nether. But I wasn't in a rush yet and put all the armor into a chest. I wanted to rest a bit and work on improving my island. Honestly, this survival has worn me out, so many trips. First of all, I decided to gather some materials for paths. I mined cobblestone and near the river found a vein of andesite. That block will be useful too. The more different materials, the better. Later in the evening, I reached a gravel patch, also a perfect fit for the style of these blocks. Day 79 started with digging out the future path. And here is what my layout looks like. I begin randomly filling it with various blocks. First andesite, then regular gravel, then stone, and for a bit of color variety, added cobblestone. Now this place feels much cozier and nicer to be in. I also made a through passage to the mine. It looks like this. And I think it's time to finally worry about lighting. These torches that constantly go out are not good. At the path intersection, I built this kind of lamppost. I think it fits perfectly here. And finally, let's hang our favorite lanterns on the house as well. By the way, I specifically designed the house so that in the future I could hang lights on it. And after almost 80 days of survival, it finally came in handy. I didn't forget about the glowing mushrooms we found on our recent trip. They look fantastic. Just look at the atmosphere these new decorations create. Alright, done. Just look at how our island has transformed. It has such an unusual winter vibe now. I could honestly play on this mod pack forever. I greeted day 80 with a beautiful sunset. I noticed that the mushrooms we planted can actually grow. Oh wow, these mushrooms can grow? They actually look pretty cool, kind of like pink trees. Let them grow here peacefully. That same day in the greenhouse, I planted potatoes, beets, some onions, and a bit of carrots and regular berries. Now we just have to wait for the harvest, and we'll finally be able to cook proper soups. While waiting, let's craft a cooking pot. We place it on the stove. Here's what it looks like. You can load different vegetables inside to cook soup, so all we need now is our first harvest. The next day I placed even more organic compost. I'm planning to be a real farmer, so this will definitely be useful. Now it was just a matter of waiting and enjoying the view. The harvest didn't grow as fast as I wanted, of course, but I had no choice. The next half hour of my life I passed in a calm, cozy atmosphere. I worked in a greenhouse, gathering and replanting crops. Over time, some compost blocks turned into fertile soil. I placed them on the beds and planted beets and a bit of potatoes there. Now the crops should grow much faster. After a while, I gathered quite a good variety of vegetables. From these ingredients, we could get an excellent soup. Into the boiling pot, I tossed beets, potatoes, some cabbage and carrots. When it finished cooking, we got vegetable soup. It restores a lot of hunger and importantly gives hot drink and comfort effects. Warming up will be much easier now. In the end, I made 7 soups, some salads, and crafted a shield. Now I think I'm fully ready for the trip to the Nether. Well then, 1, 2, 3. To be honest, after so many cold days, it feels strange to be somewhere this warm. I spawned next to a soul sand valley. Honestly, not the most pleasant place, so I immediately started bridging away to escape it as fast as possible. On the way, I mined all the gold I found. We'll need to trade with piglins for ender pearls, so that's our next step. I'm overheating even in cold armor. This is insane. Guys, do you also see that nether chupacabra? Oh, wait, it hasn't noticed us yet? Let's try killing it. Oh, please, die. It dropped some kind of claw. Don't think we'll need it. Oh, that's something interesting. Oh, what is that? Get away from me, please. What is this flying mosquito? Die, you pest. It's latching on places it shouldn't. Okay, I need to carefully loot the bastion. And since my armor has almost no protection, it's a real problem. Brute piglins can kill me in a couple hits. I hope the bastion isn't too hot inside. Okay, carefully climbing down. Oh no, run! There is a drop! No! 1 heart! Just 1 heart left! Go away, I beg you! Wait, can they not hit me here? Alright, that was actually terrifying. I thought I was dead for sure. The first chest had gold blocks, obsidian and even a scrap. The second one had even more gold and arrows. Inside the bastion I also found some hidden gold blocks, and I think this amount is already enough to trade with piglins. 1 down, and 2 down. Almost got him with the first try. I decided to head toward another part of the bastion. There is more space to move around, though that definitely doesn't make this place any safer. This is insane. This heat won't leave me alone. Feels like it's going to haunt me forever. Oh, nice, more loot. And a diamond knife. Perfect, that'll be useful for cooking. Since it was way too hot inside the bastion, I built toward the Crimson Forest. There I met piglins and tried trading again, but honestly the stuff they gave me was a garbage. Unbelievable, I fed them literally a whole stack of gold and got 0 pearls. These guys are ridiculous. Then I smelted the gold I had found. Nearby I found some piglins and tried trading again. Oh, first pearls, good start. Oh, and another batch, that was fast. In the end, I got 8 pearls from these piglins, and I needed just a bit more. So I set out on a small journey. Are you stupid? A piglin shot me in the head and now my vision is blurry. Okay, I need to smelt gold somehow, and for that I need lava. I splashed myself with fire resistance, collected lava, and accidentally threw my pearl. Oh, careful, piglin! I wasn't expecting you here. Die, you. Please, 2 hearts. Oh, seems like I healed up. After some time, I found a piglin that first gave me 4 pearls, then 4 more. I think that amount is more than enough. Time to search for a fortress. We still haven't found one, and blaze rods are even more important. Oh, stop! Easy, easy! Nice, piggy! Don't hit me! Careful! Oh! That was dangerous. I traveled for a long time, found many different biomes, and still no fortress. Then, in a fight with the piglin, he hit me so hard that my vision blurred. Out of panic, I shot my bow and accidentally hit a zombified piglin. They all attacked me instantly, leaving me with only 3 hearts. But at the last moment, I threw a pearl onto a tree and survived with just 1 heart. I quickly built a portal and escaped back to the overworld. And just look where I spawned, right next to the village where I traded with the cartographer. Since the sun was still high, I decided to return home and prepare properly this time. Just look at this, it's our campfire, the one we placed at the very start of the survival. That means the house is close. Even though it wasn't that long ago, I'm already feeling nostalgic. And there is our island in the distance. Upon returning to the island, I ran into the greenhouse and grabbed some vegetables. I also took the plane with me and headed back to the Nether. Moving around with the flying machine made everything much easier, and soon enough I spotted another fortress. I carefully began exploring the fortress and quickly found a blaze spawner. But after taking the first hit and then a second right in the back, I realized that fighting them without fire resistance made absolutely no sense. Just 2 attacks left me at 1 heart. On top of that, my cold armor broke entirely. As much as I didn't want to admit it, I had to retreat back home. There, I crafted a new set of armor and cooked a few more soups. On the morning of day 89, a wandering trader came by, and I bought some crocodile eggs and a banana peel from him. I placed the eggs right here. Not sure if anything will hatch, but why not? And as for the banana peel, I have no idea what to do with it, so I'll just leave it in the kitchen as a decor. Right when the soups finished cooking, I was about to head to the Nether again, but I suddenly got an achievement. And not for nothing, one of the crocodiles actually hatched. Just look at this little guy, he's so adorable. Hopefully he won't eat me when he grows up. Well, let's go to the Nether, this time for sure the last time. After finding a piglin, I traded with him for a couple of fire resistance potions. With that ready, I returned to the fortress, drank the potion, and got back to killing blazes. The first rod is already here, perfect. After killing about a dozen blazes, I gathered 11 blaze rods, which is more than enough. 12 Ice of Ender will go toward the portal, and 4 more to locate the stronghold. And since it was already day 90, it was time to fly back home. Back on the island, I put all valuable items into a chest and started thinking about what to do next. We still had some time, so improving the island further and preparing for the dragon fight seemed like a good idea. First, I grew warm fern leaves in the greenhouse. They help insulate the armor even better, so all I had to do was wait until they were ready. While waiting, I crafted a sewing table and placed it right here on the second floor. Inside, I put regular string and warm fern leaves, and from that I got warm thread. Using it, I crafted a part of warm coat. Combining everything in a sewing table, my chest plate now provides much better cold protection. Now we just have to wait until enough fern grows so we can upgrade the whole armor set. The atmosphere here is just incredible. It's only 2 degrees right now. I put on the warm chest plate and immediately stopped freezing. Now I can comfortably walk around outside at night without worrying about the cold. And this is awesome. Ooh, our crocodile's already grown. I hope he doesn't attack me, right? Seems friendly. With a jaw like that, he could easily snap me in half. And another one grew too, but this one definitely looks unfriendly. Oh, he bites through the door. Did you see that? I need to get rid of him somehow. Oh, done. He's dead. Why did he even want to eat me, I wonder? Since I didn't have much else to do, I went out at night to chop wood. From it, I crafted barrels, trapdoors, and campfires. And from the leather I got from piglins, I made tents. On the morning of day 92, I began working on functional campsite spots. I placed a tent, a campfire nearby, and a couple of barrels decorating with small details. It looks fantastic. I started placing these small campsite setups all over the island, and I think they fit the winter atmosphere perfectly. By the way, our fern grew, so now we can upgrade the pants as well. That same day, I planted spruce saplings all around the island. Trees will help keep the area warm and protect it from strong winds. Over time, I also upgraded the helmet and boots. And now I have a full set of maximum warmth armor. I can freely walk outside without freezing. After all that, I can finally enjoy the scenery even at night. That's awesome. I also found a crafting recipe for a popular plush toy, Teddy Bear. They look adorable. Let's place them around to create a cozy, warm atmosphere. Looks just perfect. On day 93 of survival, I decided it was time to craft a quadcopter. I think it will be extremely helpful in the dragon fight. It mostly requires iron, so the perfect moment to go mining. Run, please. What was that in the dark? It's biting me. No, run, please. I don't want to die. Building up, building up. Oh, that was insane, I swear. Nope, I'm digging out of here. I got to the surface at the start of day 94. Nothing special happened that day. I put the iron to smelt and went to gather other resources for the drone. Look, even bamboo has an animation, just like trees. Looks unusual. While the iron was smelting, I harvested the crops and tossed the veggies into the pot to cook soup for the upcoming battle. And once the iron smelted, I crafted the propellers and combined everything to get a fully functional quadcopter. Look how cool it looks. Fuel it up and take off. It's so fun to control, you have no idea. Let's fly to the village. I need to buy some arrows from the Fletcher anyway. Technically, this thing is meant for large-scale building, but I'm sure we'll find another use for it. Once I reach the Fletcher's house, I stock up on arrows. They'll definitely come in handy during the dragon fight. And just look how easy it is to shoot from the quadcopter. I think the dragon stands no chance at all. Just look at how our island looks from above. Those pink mushrooms even glow, by the way. Looks amazing. It was already day 95, so it was time to head out and search for the End Stronghold. Oh, looks like the portal is nearby. The eye started turning the other way. Look at this little red panda. It's so cute. Oh, the eye flew the other direction. The portal is somewhere here. We just dig straight down. Soon I reached Deep Slate level and found Skull Growth. Yeah, the main thing is not to summon the Warden by accident. I'm not ready for that fight at all. Oh, what is that? Die! Oh, that scared the hell out of me. What kind of skulk monkey is that? Have you ever seen anything like this? I have to move as carefully as possible. The end portal should be close. Oh no, what did it do? Run! Okay, build up, build up. I think we're safe. Just carefully sneak deeper. The main thing is not to summon the Warden. Oh, and there is the End Stronghold. I finally found it. There is so much skulk here. Have you ever seen anything like this? Everything is overgrown. Just look at this. I began exploring the End Stronghold as carefully as possible. Honestly, I've never seen a stronghold mixed with skulk before. Because of that, finding pathways was harder. Some doors were completely overgrown as well. Oh wow, my first diamonds in the entire survival. That's insane getting the first ones this late. Soon I found a library and started collecting bookshelves. Since we now had diamonds, we could finally craft an enchanting table later. That's awesome. And here's the end portal itself. It even has 3 Eyes of Ender already inside. And by the way, it's now day 99 of our survival, so we're right on schedule. Well then, 1, 2, 3. And here we are in the end. Everything is foggy and my body temperature drops immediately. So we need to hurry. Someone's about to get destroyed, and it's not going to be me. Oh yeah, we did it, guys. And of course, we collect the XP. And we'll take the Dragon Ball with us too. We've reached day 100 and achieved everything we wanted. We have warm base, a greenhouse full of crops and animals. But most importantly, we learned how to survive the brutal cold and defeated the dragon. If you want to play this mod pack, all the links are in the description. After all this work, I hope you'll at least leave a like and subscribe. It really motivates me and keep making videos. And as always, this was Skillux. Bye bye.